Safeguarding Adults Week, blocks and barriers is another thing that we cover on our TAY training session about safeguarding adults and children. And we ask the delegates to tell us anything that they think could potentially be a barrier to an adult at risk sharing with you that they're experiencing abuse, or they're aware that somebody else is experiencing abuse. And this could be an adult at risk reporting it or disclosing it themselves, or it could be an adult who is a colleague or another service user or somebody who supports that adult at risk. We ask specifically what are the blocks and barriers to them reporting that abuse. And we get different answers every training session. I'm always amazed by the eclectic mix of answers we get depending on who's in the room. So there'll be no surprise to you that people talk about barriers with regards to language differences, cultural differences, misunderstanding, miscommunication, fear of repercussions, not being able to access somebody to share that information with, or having a lack of trust or a real confusion over what will the next steps be within the process. It could be that somebody isn't recognizing that they're being abused or that somebody else is being abused. It could be that their understanding or their learned behavior doesn't enable or allow them to have that recognition. Could be that they don't have the words or the knowledge to be able to share and recognize the signs and symptoms of abuse. But equally, it could be down to some really clear logistical things: who to contact, when to contact, how to contact, what on earth do I say to share this information? Do I have the ability to speak and share this information? What level of understanding do I have as an individual? There's so many different blocks and barriers that can potentially stop somebody reporting abuse, that we as professionals, I absolutely feel that it is our responsibility to help people to understand and break down what some of those barriers are. So the second part of this activity is always, what can we do? What can we do to minimize these blocks and barriers? How can we ensure that there is a shared language? How can we ensure that we're available, approachable, relatable? How can we help people have the confidence and competence to recognize signs and symptoms and know what to do with that information? And how do we build those trusting relationships within the parameters of keeping people safe? Blocks and barriers is something that we all need to consider all of the time, because they're there. Whether we see them or not, they absolutely are influencing whether somebody discloses abuse or reports abuse. And there's so many different reasons and rationales that can block or be a barrier. So as a frontline professional in Safeguarding Adults Week, please have a think about what something you can do to minimise those barriers and ensure that you are open to somebody coming and disclosing to you or sharing with you their concerns.